Welcome to a 1v1 on Faymonville Approach. This game is going to be Dbmb versus Jesulin, both pretty big names. Jesulin is a huge name, winning all of the most recent tournaments I can even think of. And Dbmb, a very recent Starcross King. Jesulin has also made some attempts at taking the Starcross King's throne. Failed in all of his attempts so far. I'm sure it's just a matter of time before he succeeds, though. None of the kings he's challenged have exactly been easy opponents, failing to dethrone big names such as Captain Price, OMG Pop, and a third person. I don't know. The Starcross Kings has been running for so long now that it's all become difficult for me to recount its history. It has been a pretty legendary tournament, though, if I'm being honest. I'm so proud of it. There's so many huge matchups have happened in Starcross Kings now that I can't even keep track of them. That's how good it's been. But this is not Starcross Kings. This is an auto match game, I believe, and we've got Dbmb playing as U.S. forces in the left, Jesulin playing as Upper Command of West on the right. In the east, Airborne Rifle and Armor Company against Jesulin's Luftwaffe ground forces. Volksgrenadiers making their way in this direction. Stern Pioneers wiring off this approach. We've seen Jesulin do that many times, but it is important to keep in mind that this door is still accessible, I think. So, definitely still possible to get through this approach, I think. I can't quite tell based on the placement of that wire if that is still... I think so. I think you can still use that door. One Volksgrenadier squad going south, and Rifle Company has been chosen by Dbmb here. Thank you, chat, by the way, for educating me on the history of my own tournament. I can't even remember. Sib also defeated Jesulin. Thank you. Jesulin vs. Sib is a good series, Antilles. You should check the YouTube video.
Area secured. We're taking lead over here.
Riflemen moving up into close range on those Volksgrenadiers. These riflemen with their one-star vet trying to get across the road, see what they can do. Jesulin has his SWS over here, but he needs to pull back to safety rear echelons. We've seen Dbmb do this exact capping order, by the way, in the tournament. Boom, 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 boom with his rear echelons. Shift cues those orders, doesn't pay any attention to his rear echelons for the next 5 minutes, I suspect. Seems to be a pretty solid capping order, especially if your opponent does not work the bottom at all, keeping his squads in this general area to keep Jesulin occupied rather than harassing territory in the south. One squad of Volksgrenadiers engaging without cover against Riflemen in yellow cover at this range. Riflemen should win, but this engagement will go to Jesulin as he secures building control and outnumbers his opponent. 4 Volksgrenadiers on the field to Dbmb's 3 Riflemen. Dbmb is going Lieutenant despite having chosen Rifle Company, so he may leave himself a little bit vulnerable to tanks late game if his Easy 8s can't stack up, or if he doesn't go Captain tier for some kind of anti-tank. I'm not sure what Jesulin's going to do. He has chosen Luftwaffe ground forces, as I said before, but no tech yet. No MG-34 on the field yet either. So he's leaving himself open to adapt to whatever his opponent will do. And utility car is in production, so Jesulin may consider mechanized regiment headquarters if he scouts Lieutenant tier, which he hasn't seen that yet, but he's going to go mechanized regiment anyway. Probably just because on this map it's so powerful. And because a battle group headquarters is difficult to place in a meaningful forward location, so building that early doesn't yield that much of a benefit on this map. You basically on this map just build battle group headquarters in your base. If you build it a little further forward like this so you can reinforce in this green cover position, that can be beneficial, but you also leave it a little bit vulnerable to being taken out by aggressive anti-tank gun pushes. If your opponent went Rifle Company, you need to be especially careful with forward placement because you can get flamer blobbed really hard. And Captain Price has shown us all the power of the RNG Rifle Flamer Blob in Starcross Kings, so I think we've all learned to respect its power. Jesulin's truck placement against Rifle Company seems perfectly logical to me, and the AA half-track is in production. M20 rounding a couple squads up, forcing retreats. Jesulin taking control of the fuel point here in the south. Rear echelon troops moving up to engage those Volksgrenadiers in the building. Lieutenant engaging Volksgrenadiers in the building as well. He'll be forced to retreat soon. There he goes. M20 moving to do some possible manpower bleed as well. No armor skirts on the M20 yet. May choose to get them once he sees this on the field though.
God damn it! Someone get us out of here! Point secure. Man out.
Mine going down right there from the M20 utility car. And these two squads are making their way towards the north. Volksgrenadiers making their way towards this area as well.
M20 armor upgrade complete. Incoming bandits tracking us! Swing guns right!
A capture point is under attack.
Things are largely pretty quiet while both of them try and get territory on their respective halves of the map back.
Ground's ours. Now spread out.
Lieutenant working on the fuel point. Rifleman grabbed the strategic point before moving forward. Jesulin parking his flak half-track here in the road and moves an MG-34 up to support.
We're losing a capture point.
Bust out the metal, boys! Promotion just came through!
Our supply lines.
Volksgrenadiers need to retreat, falling low to avoid further manpower bleed. This squad on the flank of these riflemen will inflict a little damage, but the M20 is moving to screen them away. The M20 has upgraded with armor skirts now. MG-34 catches a couple squads right there, suppresses 2 of 3. The flak half-track has left the... Oh no, it hasn't. It's still here. Flak half-track is still here to support. We'll force that retreat, but can't do anything about this. Bazooka is moving to engage that flak half-track, but he really needs to avoid rounding that corner against it, unless it moves, which it just did. It's on the move. There it goes. And squads over here have pushed away the M20 with the Panzer Shrek. No shots connected. Dbmb has gotten AA half-track on the field now, however, making his way to important engagements against what Jesulin has. If he gets that thing in range to fire on Jesulin's AA half-track, may be able to bring it low with the autocannon. Going straight for it. Panzer Shrek shot, unfortunately, goes at something. I don't even know. Late retreat from Jesulin and the squad is wiped.
Capture complete!
AA half-track has to get away from that autocannon, taking heavy damage. Tier 2 going up here in Jesulin's base, but Dbmb must not have had vision or felt like he could take that out. I don't know, he might have spotted that. He got pretty close. There's a line of sight blocker right there, though. These two squads moving up into short range to engage them. They're going to be forced to retreat. M20 forcing away the Volksgrenadiers there in the north as well. Jesulin having a lot of trouble breaking his containment right now. He's kind of holding on to one fuel point, one victory point at all points, but may not be enough. He took a really nasty squad wipe against his Panzer Shrek squad. He's got fuel transfer active, maybe? Does he? Yes. So he doesn't have very much munitions to spare on Panzer Shreks, and he has to be very careful. Against 2 light vehicles, you can tell that he's struggling really, really badly. Dbmb has yet to suffer any squad wipes besides his rear echelon troops.
Enemy flanking us!
Jesulin has suffered 1 squad wipe, spent 400 on tech structures though. And a lot of just bleed. If he can get his Raketenwerfer into a good position against Dbmb's light vehicles, that could definitely help. But he's currently triple capped and running out of time quite rapidly. He needs to get some territory under his control. Volksgrenadiers moving to take control of this strategic point right now.
Area secure. Cover the advantage.
And he's going to cancel that mine. He did get one mine down there. That's something Jesulin will have to keep in mind. Still no still no minesweeper on the Sturm Pioneers from Jesulin. Probably wants to spend his next 90 on a Panzerschreck if he can. Flak half-track pushes away that lieutenant. Flamethrower upgrade on those riflemen will push away the Sturm Pios here in the north. AA half-track forces away that Volksgrenadier squad right there. This Volksgrenadier squad will retreat. AA half-track moves up to assist right here. Flamethrower squad retreats. Very delicate back and forth from both of these players. Jesulin definitely does not want to overcommit and suffer any more manpower bleed if he can avoid it. He's going double Raketenwerfer, by the way. Against 2 light vehicles, I could definitely see it. That's a lot of manpower invested into light vehicles, and by going double Raketenwerfer, he'll give himself the potential to one-shot them if they position themselves too aggressively. AA half-track moves to engage from this flank. Fortunately, the Raketenwerfer was not set up in the correct direction to engage at that time. Flak half-track has a line on those riflemen. Raketenwerfer trying to move up to finish this thing off. These 2 squads suppressed by AA fire. This machine gun set up in red cover, getting burst down by the flamethrower. Falling very low, but the Flak half-track has turned to fire on those 2 squads, and everything is going to be forced to retreat. The Flak half-track dealing pretty good damage to these infantry that are trying to advance, and since nothing has a line on that... Okay, so nothing has a line on that half-track, nothing can retaliate, particularly not the AA half-track, and using Raketenwerfer is going to prove too scary for him to stick around in that area for long. M20 counter-harassing in the north will force Sturm Pios to retreat. And the AA half-track is going to move to try and do something about this. Dbmb has not noticed, and he's actually a little stuck on blockers right here. What is he doing? The Raketenwerfer shot just missed, though. I don't know if that's going to be enough to save him. Maybe. Neither of them just attacked ground. Neither of those units. Wow. That Raketenwerfer miss saves that M20 this time. Jesulin wasn't monitoring the engagement. He probably just assumed that thing was dead. He'll just have to wait for another opportunity for that thing to expose itself. Had a brief moment where he had opponent was not paying attention. And was not able to secure that kill, unfortunately. Still no minesweeper from Jesulin, who continues to float munitions for the second Panzerschreck purchase right there. And he's gone Puma. He's gone all in into light vehicles. That means he is going to have to trust his own micro skills to be better than his opponents. Both of them going with heavy light vehicle builds here. Jesulin is heavier because he has spent a lot more fuel on his. Meanwhile, Dbmb is going to be getting tanks quite soon. First Sherman will be on the field 5 fuel from now. Those riflemen are getting dangerously close. And white phosphorus is being dropped in the area. I don't know what I think about that white phosphorus drop. That's a little ineffective against pretty much everything. Oh! Wow, that bazooka squad just got annihilated by their own white phosphorus, plus I don't know what that was, like a grenade or flak burst or something. I don't even know. Either way, huge damage, and now that AA half-track is in danger from the Puma, but it needs to be mindful of M6 anti-tank mines. It needs to be careful. Fallschirmjäger fields out of the building, going for a huge Panzerfaust on the ambulance. Major being brought down. Puma goes down to autocannon fire, though. He got too close to that Puma, or got too close to that autocannon. Shouldn't have done that. overly aggressive with the Puma, and the Puma goes down. He needed to engage at maximum range, not get overly aggressive and lose his Puma, or at least try and circle straight for something, but he just drove straight into the autocannon, trying to manage an engagement between Fallschirmjäger, who's trying to make too much happen at once, and kind of messed up a little bit right there. Puma goes down, and that's a bad time to lose a Puma with the Sherman about to roll onto the field. That would have been a nice utility to have, especially for aimed shot. Now he's going to have to fight that Sherman with nothing but Panzerfaust. 1 Shrek, 2 Rakettenwerfers could prove difficult, but possible. Sherman goes in too deep. Decides he doesn't like that engagement, immediately pulls back.
Position. Folks, Grenadiers, back to full strength. Achtung, prepare for action.
Rakettenwerfer trying to find an opening. There's 2 of them here. 1 volley will be sufficient to kill any light vehicle. Rifleman with flamethrowers moving to screen anti-tank weaponry away. White phosphorus just got dropped on this clump, and everything will be forced to retreat. There is healing available in Jesulin's base, but these mass retreats are definitely going to hurt and give a lot of freedom to Dbmb's tanks to do as they please here on the front lines. Could be a wipe right here. Nice crush. And I think that squad is dead. I don't think it could possibly survive. The autocannon moves up to engage now that the Rakettenwerfers have been forced to retreat. MG-34 set up right here. Probably be forced away by Sherman fire soon. Rakettenwerfers moving to assist in the engagement as much as they can. Jesulin does have a minor amount of victory point control right now. He just doesn't have a way to turn the game back in his favor unless his opponent makes a mistake against these Rakettenwerfers or exposes himself to a Panzerfaust or something. Jesulin's one mobile means of taking out his opponent's priority targets is dead. He had a Puma, and now he has to wait an eternity for either another Puma or Jagdpanzer, and he'll have to be much more careful with the second one. One shot connects, wasn't quite in range for the second. A half-track gets a free pass this time. Black half-track engaging those riflemen. They will be forced to retreat. Ooh, that was a big flak burst. Riflemen also forced to retreat.
Weapon team, ready! Scroba, ready! Enemy contact! Enemy flanking us! Enemy panzer!
MG-34 pulling back to safety. AA half-track firing on those stern piles, and they will get wiped by the autocannon and flamethrower moving up on the north flank, while the M20 exposes itself to Rakettenwerfer fire in the south. Stern Pioneers get wiped, and that definitely hurts, but the Sherman exposes itself to Panzerfaust. Jesulin will cancel the Panzerfaust. I guess he didn't think he would be able to follow up right there. Coming close to a squad wipe on those riflemen, they'll be forced to retreat, exposed to AA half-track fire. 16 kills, performing quite well. Jesulin continues to have 2 victory points under his control. Puma on the field. He decided to go Puma again. Sherman's going to be falling low. Rakettenwerfer's moving to support this engagement. What is that Sherman doing? It's going down so quick. Autocannon fire no longer available to support either. Oh, that Sherman is so screwed. Puma going in hard on its rear armor at close range. Huge play by Jesulin. Massive overextension by Dbmb. loses his AA half-track, loses his M20, loses his Sherman. Jesulin traded his Sturm Pioneers for 3 American vehicles. Great engagement for Jesulin right there. And now he really is poised to take control of the game. Easy 8 just rolled onto the field. That'll be a slightly more reliable counter to the Puma than our standard Sherman, but that is, like I said before, he has no counter to vehicles after all of his tanks are dead. He doesn't even have bazookas researched. You might want to consider that at least to fight these light vehicles. He has no captain tier, no AT guns. Going lieutenant into Easy 8s leaves you so vulnerable to vehicles if you don't get bazookas or something. Although he's lost a lot of munitions on white phosphorus barrages, I think Jesulin just pulled dramatically into the lead. That Easy 8 is the only hope Dbmb has to retain control of this game, but if he doesn't take a victory point, all of the engagements so far, well, he did actually take this one briefly, but I think that his victory point control is going to be in a lot of danger now. He didn't apply enough victory point pressure when he did have a huge lead, vehicle lead. And Jesulin still has 200 victory points in the bank, which to make a comeback. And that's very possible now. Puma starts trying to vet up at range against that Easy 8. No overly aggressive engagements with that Puma. Jesulin needs to micro this one much more carefully than his last one. So far, it's off to a great start. His opponent doesn't have that much fuel reserves right now. And Rakettenwerfer is moving up to screen against that Easy 8. Riflemen at the north victory point should be able to win this engagement with their flamethrowers. Volksgrenadiers will not last long here. We'll be forced to retreat there. Black half-track moves to support in this area and picks up a squad wipe. Nice. But it does have engine damage and will be destroyed by the Puma, or by the Easy 8 here if it doesn't get to safety. Popping smoke to try and protect itself. Rakettenwerfer is taking heavy damage from the flamethrower. Will probably go down. Puma taking heavy damage as well. Really dicey engagement. Oh man, I don't know what's gonna happen. Easy 8 switches targets to fire on the flak half-track. Main gun destroyed. It's just a matter of time before that goes down, and the Puma goes down to something. AT grenade from the riflemen. Both of Jesulin's light vehicles cleared because they both let themselves get in range of an anti-tank grenade. Jesulin's light vehicle micro faltered, and now Dbmb has taken the lead again. Jesulin quite a bit of fuel away from a Jagdpanzer, which is probably going to be his next vehicle. I don't think he can wait for anything heavier than that. Flamethrower riflemen in the building falling low, need to retreat. Looks like they should be able to get away okay. Jesulin playing hard for the north right now. Fallschirmjäger getting pinned by a 50 cal in the center, may be forced to retreat. Jesulin has a little bit of manpower to work with right now, but he's running out of time. Needs to take back control of this game, which may prove difficult with no light vehicles. No means of suppressing his opponent's riflemen. Those flamethrowers are just brutal. Jesulin getting a little bit risky with his Rakettenwerfers right here. And will get screened away by those flamethrowers quite easily and immediately is forced to retreat. Wanted to try to maybe pick up the ambulance or Easy 8 if you could find it repairing. Doesn't have a whole lot of infantry with which to spot for those things. Having lost 3 light vehicles this game, it's now 24 minutes in and he has no armor, no vehicles of any kind, just a little bit of infantry. But he also has a moment of quiet, where he can take control of the north victory point and slow the clock. Dbmb reinforcing here by the ambulance, and is about to make a big push with the Easy 8 and 4 fully healed and reinforced flamethrower squads. Very few suppression sources left, just this machine gun. Easy 8 goes straight for it. The Rakettenwerfers are not set up for this push yet. That has to retreat. The Jagdpanzer is in production. This is pretty much Jesulin's last hope. If he loses the Jagdpanzer without trading the Easy 8 for it, I'm pretty sure he won't be able to survive Dbmb's armor swarm. Grenade into the building. Just a little bit of damage to the house, no real damage to any infantry. Volksgrenadiers are falling low, will be forced to retreat. Fallschirmjäger fail to do much to anything. They're really clumped too. If that EZ8 gets a nasty hit on that squad, it'll be probably just a wipe immediately. Fallschirmjäger across the road to try and support the Jagdpanzer, which is making its way to the front lines. Volksgrenadier support. Fresh squad of Fallschirmjäger fielded out of the building as well. Try and take control of this fuel if at all possible. Jagdpanzer moving up to push away the EZ8 right there. And all riflemen will be forced away as well. That Fallschirmjäger squad falling really low though. Kind of a late retreat, but I think they'll escape. The Vet Fallschirmjäger squad is finally getting pretty strong and doing good work pushing away those riflemen. One Jagdpanzer to 2 EZ8s will prove difficult for Jesulin if he doesn't throw down some mines or get a lucky Faust off, or just really good flank support on that Jagdpanzer. He may be in trouble. Extending that Jagdpanzer rather far, trying to bring those EZ8s in. He's got 2 Raketenwerfers here to support. One Volksgrenadier squad with Panzerschreck on the flanks. MG34 a little slow to set up. There's White Phosphorus. Jesulin has to retreat. That overextension is going to cost Jesulin a lot of precious time. He only has 100 victory points remaining. In fact, he thinks that overextension has cost him the game. Wow, and was called GG, well played. Doesn't think he can come back against this. We saw some really good back and forth this game. Good plays by both sides. I feel that if Jesulin had just had slightly better light vehicle micro, the game was in the bag. But the loss of his flak half-track and second Puma was too much to handle, and he loses full control of the map. Dbmb takes it. GG, Allies win.